So we use infrastructure as code to help you accomplish the better cloud management. But thanks for joining us today. I've been around this space for a long time. Don't let the marketing title fool you. I've been a
Yeah,
subject
we
matter.
know Cindy. I know Cindy. She's a geek like me. So even though she's got the fancy title, she's got the CISSP, she can really go geeky with you, but we'll keep a nice fine line here.
Right. So I come from a history of security, so appreciate the previous two presentations, application security with Fortify, DevSecOps with GitLab, and now I'm focused on cloud asset management with Firefly, really bringing together the best elements of DevOps, SecOps, and CloudOps as the underpinnings of a well-managed cloud infrastructure. Cloud complexity continues to compound as single-purpose tools are added. So DevOps uses source code management, testing tools, CI/CD, and all kinds of other things. CloudOps uses cost management, performance management tools, and SecOps has identity access management, scanners, and now is trying to enforce policies across a very complex, heterogeneous cloud infrastructure. And the fact is, organizations with a single cloud provider are really becoming scarce. My research has shown that the majority use 2 or even 3 cloud services. So you may have Azure and GCP or GCP and AWS, but it's kind of becoming rare that you just have one. And each one of those has their own requirements and quirks, and it really becomes a chaos to manage. So at the same time, it's even more important to manage this growing software-defined infrastructure. And why is that? Well, hackers have discovered the fragility and mismanagement of our tool chains. SolarWinds learned the hard way, and so did SANS. Cost is buried in the complexity, so waste can easily be overlooked or just not found. It's a bit of throwing money into the cloud, and that's frustrating to everyone. And at the same time, more business critical workloads are moving to the cloud, making reliability even more important. So what do? What we have done as an industry, I think, is throwing more point solutions at it. So here's a tool to manage cloud security. Here's one to cut cloud costs. Here's one to help you with performance. And we must collectively get to the root of the problem. And it's really around good cloud management practices that are at the foundation. But how do you do that? That's where infrastructure as code comes in. It's a key enabler. It's a way to automate the management of your entire cloud infrastructure and govern access, changes, and quality in the same way that you govern software application code. By continuously comparing your actual cloud resource configurations to the desired configurations, which are codified as infrastructure as code, such as Terraform, Pulumi, Bicep, Helm, those kinds of things, you can immediately detect unplanned or ungoverned changes made to either the actual state or the desired state. And often those changes are made at the cloud console. We tend to refer to those as ClickOps. And it's usually under emergency conditions, just got to get this change out there. And that makes it really hard to keep track of what you actually have configured. This can create issues for reliability, security, and cost. And ClickOps is really kind of kicking the can down the road. Sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with the consequences and that technical debt. The key requirement to solving this dilemma, you need to be able to scan your entire cloud footprint to find not only the assets that are managed by infrastructure as code like Terraform, which is the most popular one, but equally important, those unmanaged assets that were deployed without infrastructure as code and changes that were deployed without governance. This is how you get in front of the change management practices for assets in the cloud that are by definition constantly changing. You can't settle for only managing the assets that are intentionally codified by infrastructure as code. It's only half the picture. And taking this broader approach to managing your entire cloud footprint enables you to do several things. To easily identify unmanaged assets, even SaaS application configurations like Okta, Datadog, and more, they need governance as well. And it allows you to enforce best practices using AI-driven policies that are both pre and post deployment. It's easy to expect that you can do one or the other, but you really need to do both. And doing so all in one solution across your entire cloud footprint simplifies things. The path to achieving a well-managed cloud can be a long one. It's a bit like diet and exercise, probably a bad word this time of year, right? It takes discipline and perseverance. However, the right cloud asset management platform can help you achieve these goals faster, with less toil, and without training everyone to be cloud experts. But to get there, you first need to have a complete picture of what you have in the cloud. Next, you need to ensure that everything is codified as infrastructure as code. Only then can you control drift, misconfiguration, and policy violations while you continuously improve and iterate as your cloud management practices mature. Let's dig in and unpack this just a little bit further. The challenge of good cloud management, as I said, starts with understanding what resources you have, what's codified as IAC, what's not. This traditionally involves a lot of manual comparison between the Cloud Console and your IAC files. It's very time consuming to know what needs to be codified and just kind of figuring out where to begin. Then there's codification itself. Writing the Terraform files, Helm, and other IAC can be time consuming. And the challenge is the benefits are long term. So it often gets deprioritized for more pressing needs. Again, a little bit like diet and exercise. Then there's the discipline of keeping your cloud up to code, keeping it aligned with the desired state. Incidents happen. Sometimes you just have to fix things quickly. But just like eating cookies every day will make you gain weight, making many small changes every day to your cloud over time can result in a really big maintenance mess. So your cloud becomes more and more difficult to manage and troubleshoot, especially as you scale. Often, IAC is pursued as a means to enable developers to configure their own cloud infrastructure so they can move faster. But how do you ensure that they do it well? Does it meet policies and standards for cost, reliability, security? And you need to know this again, both pre-deployment and post-deployment, because we're not all perfect. Sometimes things get deployed that maybe shouldn't be. And the one challenge that worries SREs and security teams, like the ones we've heard here recently, the most, is what happens if a configuration gets deleted, corrupted, or held ransom? Do you have a backup of that configuration? What if the asset's been deleted? Can you reconstitute it? And do you know its history? These are all the challenges that go along with this pursuit of using infrastructure as code to better manage your cloud. But the answer to those challenges can be found in an approach that is derived from proven methods used for on-premise asset management, things like CMDB, but for the cloud, ITAM for the cloud, architected in a way that fits with today's cloud native infrastructure. You need a solution that enables DevOps, SREs, and platform teams to find their entire cloud footprint, not just that which is managed, to understand what's managed, what's not managed, to detect ungoverned changes, and to manage the asset health using policy as code in a continuous way across multiple clouds, Kubernetes, and SaaS configurations. Key elements of good cloud asset management include real-time visibility, ideally in one unified inventory, creation of IAC from the actual cloud assets themselves, not from what you think they are or what you think they should be, but from what they actually are, and then managing drift from there, and creating and reusing modules, especially for those using Terraform. That's how you make things repeatable and more efficient, as well as continuous assessment of new resources. After all, cloud by nature changes constantly, so you would have new resources that come to play. You can't make this a periodic event. You need to do it continuously, and also continuously detect and remediate drift and misconfigurations. And finally, you need the ability to restore deleted assets and roll back to previous configurations. All of this can be supercharged with the addition of AI. Artificial intelligence is useful for coding uncommon edge cases, for analyzing cloud data, for mitigating misconfigurations, and for providing a co-pilot to broaden the safe and reliable empowerment of those that are using cloud infrastructure beyond the cloud ops experts. By doing so, you can achieve greater efficiencies of people and cloud resources while increasing DevOps velocity and cloud infrastructure reliability. Let's take 1 minute to look at an example in a little bit more detail. When you have these capabilities, it's kind of like bootstrapping your cloud management. So in this example, this is a proof of value that was done in 40 days with 60 cloud accounts under management. The organization wanted to streamline their engineering efforts while improving governance and disaster recovery. And what they did was they saved a vast number of engineering hours and time by automating the IAC creation, but also greater efficiency just simply through less friction, easier troubleshooting, and simplifying auditability. At the same time, they met their goals for better governance by applying policies and relying less on manual asset tagging to trigger key workflows. So asset history was captured to meet the needs of disaster recovery. And all of this was achieved with one cloud asset management solution from Firefly. I won't give you a demo. I'm going to leave you with where to go to find more. Please note that we are Firefly, not plural. The plural one will take you to a recording automated thing. That's not to manage your cloud. But if you scan the QR code, that's going to take you to the IAC Academy, which is a knowledge center that we've created that's bringing together best practices to help everyone accelerate their journey to better cloud management. So with that, thank you very much.